What's up, guys? Headed over to Rising Sun Auto Works. That's where my 95 coupe is right now. Doing a wire tuck and cleaning up the bay, gonna paint it and all that stuff. Well, today was the day for sanding the bay, and as I was waiting for my buddy to get off of work, I fell asleep. Yeah, I fell asleep on my buddy Aaron, and feel pretty bad about it. He sent me pictures of the bay all sanded, so I guess he's already got that part done. I'm headed over right now and gonna go check it out. Driving the 92 hatch right now, so. But yeah, just starting this channel. Been wanting to start a channel for a long time. Been wanting to do this build for a long time. And I finally just said, you know what, I need to go for it. And finally started just, you know, buying the parts I needed, and so yeah, I'm almost there, man. It's time. Getting the body all taken care of. You know, it's a race car, so it's not going to be super pretty, but you know, I want that engine bay to at least look, you know, pretty good. So it's a d16z6 single cam VTEC. You know, I bought an eBay turbo kit for it in the beginning. I was one of those noobs who thought, you know, you could just throw a turbo kit on a naturally inspired, you know, a non-turboed engine, and it would just work, you know. And about 2 weeks in, that thing blew up. So I learned real fast that, you know, there's a process of turboing, and so pulled apart the motor. What happened was there was a lot of crankcase pressure, and it was smoking, and it wasn't letting the oil to return back into the oil pan, and it was pushing oil out the exhaust side of the turbo itself. So I knew there was something big going on. You know, something wasn't right. I pulled the motor, pulled it apart, and the pistons literally fell apart in my hands. Process of, I just bought new rods, pistons, I got a new block, got it machined, I mean the whole 9 yards. So this is kind of be the, you know, the start of the build, and it's gonna be fun, guys. So we're over here at Rising Sun Auto Works. Over here at the 95 coupe project build that I've been talking about, and we've got the engine bay sanded, and she's going to be getting painted today, Chrysler red. So that should be a pretty good color. It pops and really complements the engine. Pretty excited about this build. Parts are starting to roll in, still waiting on the rods and pistons, but they should be here within this week, and then we can start getting going on the motor itself, and she'll have a nice clean bay to sit in. This is one of the masterminds, Aaron, Rising Sun Auto Works, and he helps me so much with all my little things that I'm trying to get completed, and just always finds an intricate way of doing it, and it's always amazing. So, but yeah, with no further ado, let's go ahead and get this going. Alright, so we just got this sanded out. What we're gonna do is basically rinse off all the sand dust. Go ahead, give it one last scrub. Basically get a clean painting surface so that, you know, we don't have any buildup. We don't have spots where, you know, paint is gonna come off because there was debris underneath it. So just gonna give this girl a nice clean bath and get ready for the old paint ski. While we're cleaning this bay up, just to let you know, we're doing a full wire tuck on this. So Aaron is really good at being able to make the bay look like there's nothing other than just a motor. We'll show you his CRX here in a little bit, but he did an amazing job on his bay and doing a wire tuck. And it's something that I wanted to learn, so it was a good point in doing this and being able to learn some of the things that he knows to be able to do it, you know, going further. And you know, why not? You know, wire tuck is just makes it look so much better. So
yeah, we're not going to go full tilt on this wire tuck. We're going to leave some of the hoses and stuff that are a little harder to relocate, standard booster and master cylinder, things like that. But definitely get the lights and everything and bumper wires all pulled through the fender rails. Just really clean that up. You know, basically clean up the firewall as best as we can, leaving some of the standard equipment that Dom's not trying to get rid of right now. So it'll definitely look a million times better than it did. No stray wires or anything like that, but again, we're going to leave some of the hard lines and things like that because right now his focus is on his engine and making some good horsepower. So
hell yeah. Yeah, that hard line can really add up. Yeah, she's gonna look so much better. I'll put some pictures in of this engine bay before we got to stripping it, and it was just a rat's nest. I got this car really cheap, about 600 bucks, and you know, with a lot of vehicles that are, you know, racers or whatever, people really do a number on trying to do upgrades. And so yeah, the wiring was just horrible. Found a lot of things that were surprises going through this build, and we're just going back to the basics, you know. Nice and clean, functional, and a lot of power.
we're pretty good on the scrub up.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're good.
It'd almost be rad just to keep it like this.
Yeah, it kind of looks cool, huh? Clear coat it.
Yep.
The evolution of the 10 different people it's been through.
Yep.
All the different layers of paint.
Yep. Yeah, she was kind of beat up here in the front. Aaron was able to put a kind of a scissor jack in between and get it really a lot better because it was tweaked out. No damage to the actual frame itself, but it definitely took a shot right here, and it almost looks like it took a shot here as well. There's a good size dent right there. So overall, she's gonna be nice. I'm also looking for a VTEC head for my hatchback right now, and I just found one But it's kind of weird because this one was posted a couple days ago for 150 bucks, the B16 VTEC head, and it's complete. But it's weird because the guy sold it, and now 2 days later it's reappeared from a different buyer or a different seller. So there's obviously something wrong with it. The person who bought it, obviously it must be warped, or there's something that's going on with it. So I'll definitely steer clear from that VTEC head. Alright, what do you want me to do?
Let's get this other stud for the wiper taped off. Just anything that we don't want getting color or overspray, make sure it doesn't get color or overspray.
What do you want to do with these hinges?
We can leave them. I'll stay away from them. If they get a little bit of overspray, I mean, we can pull them later and we'll give them a full. We'll powder coat them. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about those. We can sandblast them later. Alright guys, we're going to go old school right now. This is something that the old hot rodders did when they were repainting their bays and their cars and all that. A lot of you might have heard of this, but when you got lines and stuff that are hanging out, and you know, that's a nightmare to tape. We could put stuff like, you know, towels or plastic over it, but then it's bunched up. Tin foil, no joke. When you've got stuff hanging out there, just go ahead and wrap it around it. It goes to any form you want. You can crunch it down, get it real small, get it out of your way, but it makes sure that it's 100% sealed off from any overspray. The last thing we want to do is get this thing back together and have a bunch of overspray everywhere where we don't want it. Nothing looks worse. So again, you can go to the dollar store and get this stuff super thin, super cheap, and burn a whole roll on this, and you're only out $1, but it's helped you to tape off areas and keep that paint job looking even that much more cleaner.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it makes sense because you can really fold it. I mean, way better than a napkin or.
Yeah, well, if I had plastic over these lines, they would be, you know, wadded up, and then I've got this huge mass in front of where I'm trying to get paint in. Whereas if I crinkle tinfoil over it, like this slave cylinder here, you know, I've taped against the firewall, obviously, but now we've got tinfoil covering the whole slave cylinder, and it's real nice and tidy. It's not in my way when I'm painting, but we're not going to have a bunch of nasty overspray on it. So, you know, just one of those things. You done in here for a minute?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make sure to get you another roll of aluminum foil.
That's all right. Just don't tell my wife.
Want me to shut that compressor off?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, so hopefully that that locker piece that I got, I'll be able to get in that differential. I ended up getting one of those Phantom blocks. I think it's actually a knockoff from the actual Phantom grip, the limited slip block that goes in the differential. Because this thing, with the power that it's going to have, it's going to be spinning one tire only. So I want to be able to, I don't have the funds to go ahead and get a full LSD. So I'm going to try this, but what's weird is the block itself, it's not the spider pin, you know, is a perfect circle. And this is more of an oval on this block, and that pin is supposed to slide right through it. So I'm kind of worried that it's not going to work, but I need to go ahead and get that transmission pulled apart, get that pin out, and see if it's I might just have to put that block inside and actually pop the pins and then slide the spider pin in. But most of the guys in most of the videos I've watched, they're able to slide that pin in before they pop and release that spring pressure. So that's going to be one of the next fun challenges, is getting that in there, and then hopefully it holds up. You know. But one of these days we'll get that full locked up limited slip.
Alright.
Looks like a tree is growing out of the car.
Yeah, dude. It's a new time Christmas tree. So let's get some plastic, and we'll get your subframe here, rear cross member, get it all covered up. I know we're going to paint that back to a satin black or something when we get a chance. We'll do the bay first and then get that done. He's going to powder coat some parts on it, so we'll kind of figure that out later, but for now we're just going to get some plastic on it and make sure that everything's taped off and we don't have a bunch of gnarly overspray like I said. Ooh. Some nasty tape. It's the good stuff. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. First day out.
Beautiful.
So how do you think this Chrysler Red's going to turn out?
I think it's going to turn out amazing. It's going to look good. You know, with what I understand from your colors, or your powder coating that you're using on the engine components and things like that, I think it's going to look really good. It's going to be a nice rich color. So, you know, sometimes a bay can either accent the engine or it can accent the bay. And in this case, I think your engine's going to be what the focus is. And this will just be a really clean canvas and background for what the focus is. And I think that's important because you're really, you're really putting your time and money into that engine. Right now, that's what your focus is. That's your build.
Yeah.
Getting that worked out, and that's great. You know.
I'm definitely not going for show car quality or anything like that. This is my race car, and that's basically what it is. I mean, this was spur of the moment. Neither one of us really can deal with half-ass stuff, so we're like, let's knock it out real quick, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago this wasn't even in the plans, if I remember, but it was one of those things where, with his powder coating skill and how on point that block and everything's gonna look, and doing the wire tuck, getting that all cleaned up, it was just kind of a natural progression. We just couldn't let it go. It had been rattle can black before, and for whatever, however you feel about rattle can is what it is. But there's definitely good rattle can jobs, looks wise,
Yep.
and there's bad rattle can jobs, and
It was definitely bad.
it was definitely a bad one, and hopefully we're going to show you a good one.
Yeah, I mean, and the outside of the car is the rattle pan black as well. I may or may not paint this shell. Again, it's probably not going to stay around for too long, but we might end up painting it, but kind of going to go with a sleeper on this. Kind of want it to not scream pull me over. I mean, it is going to probably have a hood exit exhaust, but kind of want to go sleeper on it and make some really good.
All right, I'm going to go through and lay down some filler primer. We've got some spots where there was just a ton of buildup, and we sanded it all the way down. We've got just a faint bit of bare metal showing here and there, so I'm sure the paint would stick, kind of emulsifies itself into what's underneath it, but where there's bare metal, we're just going to go ahead and give it a light coating of some filler primer. So we'll put that on, knock the texture down, and then that'll give us a really good base to put our paint on, because like I said, it is a rattle can job, and while it's not super expensive, it's all about our prep and our application of the materials that makes it look, you know, good, exactly.
Makes it look sweet. Yeah, that Rex, that Rex.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. No.
Well, and the worst part is I air gunned, HVLP the bay with a super high end coating, a really nice polar white paint, but the shell that we found had some cancer in it, had some rust issues, and the further I got into it, you know, thinking about swapping panels and stuff, just kind of like what Dom's doing here, you know, it's actually my wife's car that we built for her, so she can take something down to the track, have something to drive, since we all have, you know, a little bit of fun. So, you know, it was one of those things where we did some custom suspension stuff, and we did some custom cross member stuff and some engine mounts and things like that, and I didn't know how all that was going to work out, and I really wanted to try it out. So we put it in a shell that looks, you know, 5 out of 10 for now. And you know, now in the background we'll build a fully caged shell, and that way we've got everything worked out, all the kinks worked out, and we can just drop that into that shell that is perfect. So kind of a lot like what Dom's doing here. But I did spray gun the bay, but then on the body we were just like, forget it, it's not even worth our time. So needless to say, it doesn't look bad, but it's not the best it can be.
And you did so much work on filling all the rust that it had over the back quarter panels, and actually using, you didn't use fiberglass?
Yeah, so we cut a lot of the panels out, replaced some metal just because, you know, looking at it, it was just horrendous. So we cut a lot out, put some metal in, did some fiberglass work back there, killed all the rust with the rust treatment. You know, did what we could to get a year or so out of it, but definitely not a lifetime kind of thing where I want to keep it forever. So we'll build another shell, and we'll do it upright. We'll put it in the bay, get it straight, everything straight.
Well, and and the thing is it's got to be perfect. You know, you love it when it's just the way it's supposed to be. You know.
Yeah, I have a hard time letting things kind of go at just oh, that's good enough. And Dom's constantly reminding me, especially when his budget is strictly allocated to, you know, his motor and the supporting components for his turbo setup. You know, I have a hard time a lot of times just like letting things go, and but I have to remember that everybody's, you know, even if you're a billionaire, I guess you got to have a budget, and you know, that's one of those things that I've got to remember, and I've got to go, okay, here's what we're going to focus on this. You know, a lot of times, you know, a race car can't be a show car anyway, just because, you know, you've gutted it, and, you know, you've got a roll cage. Now your dash is either cut or completely gone. You know, custom electronics, you know, things like that. So for whatever reason, you know, I gotta learn to scale it back a little sometimes.
The right way is the right way, though. You know.
That's true. If we're gonna do it, though, we're gonna do it right. So when it comes to like the wiring harness and stuff on here, it had to be right, and that's just how it had to be. So we're gonna take the extra time, go the extra mile, and kind of ensure that that's what gets done, so that when Dom gets his motor in here, all the supporting components are exactly what they should be.
Yeah, and I'll be able to use that harness on the other car.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope we don't get any overspray on that lens. We shouldn't.
Yeah, if we start getting foggy for some reason, let us know.
So are we gonna have to sand this?
Yeah, for sure. I want to go over it with like a 3M pad, just knock it down. Shouldn't take too long. It's gonna dry. We're not gonna go real heavy on the coating. Are we gonna have to
rinse it again?
No, we could blow it off. This primer comes off a little bit lighter than that nasty black paint that was on here. It was just balling up as we were trying to get it down through the layers. And so I was really afraid of getting into some of the crevices, and there was some oil in that old paint. Now that we've gone back to, we've chemically cleaned the bay, we've sanded it, we've washed out those bits that had the, you know, oil, maybe residue in it, things like that. Now that we've gotten all of that potential that's going to ruin our paint job out, I'm thinking we're going to be okay with just knocking down the texture, blowing this off with air, and then using like a tack rag to get the major stuff off, and then I think we'll be set to shoot this bay.
So more sanding coming soon.
Well, you didn't tell them the story about that.
I know.
What's the story behind the sanded bay?
I did shoot a video on my way over here, but then it was too late. But so my good old friend Aaron over here, he was at work and he told me, hey, I'll be off in about 30 minutes, and let's get this bay sanded. And so I had just got home from a long day at work. I'm a welder, whatever, and I said, I told myself, I'm gonna just lay down for a second, take my shoes off, relax, for 20 minutes until he calls me and tells me to come over. Well, little did I know, I passed out, and this was at 4:30. I woke up at 8:30, and my heart kind of dropped because we made these plans to get this done, and so I grabbed my phone, and I've got, a couple missed calls and some pictures, and I go into my pictures and look, and I see my bay completely sanded. So Aaron went ahead and basically sanded this whole bay by himself, and I was sleeping like a baby while he did that. So a little guilty. I feel pretty bad about it, but we're bros. We understand, and
yeah.
Stuff's got to get done, and he knows kind of, I have a goal date set, kind of. I want to get this, I want it to hit the road by middle of June. So it started out at the end of May. We're already getting close to the end of May. I feel like a good set time would be, right around the middle of June. So I think it's definitely achievable. We do things really quick and really, the right way. So
yeah, we've kind of got our systems worked out. It's not our first time. Like you heard Dom say, so I got off of work. So we both have full-time jobs. As of right now, this is something that's a hobby for us. We have a couple teammates that you'll see their, other cars and things like that come through here later. But for right now, we both work full-time jobs, but this is truly our passion. This is what our full-time jobs support. My wife and I work hard, and Dom works very hard, and so this is what we do. And so you heard him say Rising Sun. That's my shop. I have a small 3-bay shop, fully stocked with all the tools we could ever want to do what we want to do, because before I did what I do now, I was a full-time mechanic for the air industry, commercial, military, and private. So we've got what we need, we've got the head knowledge, but for right now we've got day jobs that support us.
And we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so the weekends are like, he's married, he has a lot going on, I've got a lot going on, and so it's really hard to jam out these projects because just life happens, and so it's cool. We're gonna knock this out as fast as we can, but do it the right way, and after this we're gonna start knocking out his projects. He's got another CRX. He's got a lot of CRXs, but he's got a CRX that he's getting ready for his daily. We're going to be doing the same exact thing to this one. Actually, I'll show you here. So this is his other CRX. I think this is number 2 out of like 5 or something. But so he's got it all dropped out. The front's dropped out. He's already started the process of. He got the color match paint for this actual car. It's hard to tell, but this is color match. So he's getting ready to. He's already started the wire tuck process. He's got that front member dropped so that he can really get in there and do a thorough paint job on that. But this, I mean, look at it in the sun. It looks amazing. It's this metallic silver. This is the 87?
Yeah.
This is the 87 CRX SI. So the engine bay will be this metallic silver. He's got the original. What's the motor itself?
The EW4 motor was the original, so that's an SI, and so what was originally in it was the EW4, and they're kind of a pain in the ass motor to work with. There's not a lot of parts support for them anymore. They're getting harder to find. I'm a member on a group called Red Pepper Racing online and on Facebook, dedicated to these old 1G CRXs, and really cool group of guys. But just something I want to do. I actually have a right-hand drive. That's something you guys will see way later in life as Dom and I get some of these other projects finished up. But I want to work out the motor setup in this car so that when the right-hand drive gets built, it has the motor that it would have had originally, because we want to take it back to a factory restoration, being that it's right-hand drive and kind of more rare in the States. So that'll be cool.
Very rare. It's like, I don't even know what number. There was only, you know, X amount produced, and last I believe Aaron checked, there was only 3 of these ones that were in the US, and so this is like one of 3 that are on paper in the US. So it's a really rare CRX.
I know we're giving you guys a lot of information about both Dom and myself in this one video, but if you guys ever want to hear more, we actually cross over a lot on my shop's Instagram page. It's Rising Sun Auto Works, so Rising Sun _ Auto Works on Instagram, and you can see the CRX, my wife's white CRX build. It took us about a year in our spare time. You can see it from where it started, which was just a basket case, to the B series swap, the disc conversion, all the custom suspension stuff we did. So if you guys want more information, a lot of Dom's powder coating, a lot of his stuff that he's done over here, his B series build that we did on his other car. So again, if you guys want more information or you have questions, you can hit us up at Rising Sun Auto Works, Rising Sun _ Auto Works on Instagram, and be more than happy to answer questions or take your criticism, whatever you want to do.
And my Instagram is Enquire360. It's ENQUIR 360, and it's just a bunch of random pictures and a lot of the car stuff. But Rising Sun is the shop, and this is where things get done. You know what I mean? This is where dreams happen and our visions become reality, and it's an amazing process. So here we go. Aaron is just priming away. Look at this.
Yeah, I said I was going to spot shot it, but like I said, I can't really do a half job in anything, so I've pretty much coated the whole car. You know,
Yep.
So that's good. That'll kind of isolate our color, even though we're going with a really robust color. This will isolate it down to where the base color is one color, so that we don't get any kind of weird shady differences in our paint when we go over. So we're primed now. We're going to let that bake down for a minute, and then we'll knock down the texture, and then we will blow it off again, get all the dust off, and then we'll hit it with a tack rag and make it happen. All right, guys, so we got the bay. It's been primered. Like I said, we spot shotted it mostly where we got some bare spots. Then we went over it with our 3M pad. You can get these at any body shop. Basically, they're equivalent to like a 320 grit. All that is, the purpose of that is to knock down that's a filler primer, so it's a little bit heavier. It leaves a little bit of texture. Again, we're not going for $1 million paint job here, but you know, we want it to be right. We want to take all the steps we can to make it right. So we've gone over everything with it. From there, we can grab our blowgun, blow all the dust off, make sure that everything's been knocked off, all the big stuff, and then we're going to take our tack cloth, which is, it doesn't leave residue. It's got like a wax on it, but it picks not only statically but holds it. It picks up all the rest of the dust off. So once we do that, I know we're outside. You know, if we get wind or we get a little bit of debris, like I said, this is not in a bay. We're not doing it, you know, $1 million show car, but we want to do the best we can. So we're gonna scour pad it, knock all the texture off.
And then we're gonna use this.
And then we use the cheesecloth to pick up everything.
Do you get it wet? Is that
Nope.
what it is?
Nope.
It feels wet.
It feels like that. That's like the waxy stuff that they use to pull everything off. It pulls it off and holds it.
Huh.
So Again, we'll finish doing the scouring pad. Shouldn't take too much
So
more.
anything I see that's kind of rough, hit it.
Yep. Even
Okay.
though, I mean, see how it's kind of shiny there now? It's shiny, not so
Dull.
like it was in
Yeah.
gritty. So it should be pretty good. I'm starting to see a few things that we could have spent a couple days on really pouring over and making it really perfect, but
Like what?
just like some scratches and stuff. I'm hoping when we lay our paint down with the primer now that's filled it a little bit, and when we lay our paint down, I'm really hoping that some of this stuff goes away. But you know, again, if I was to do this job in a booth and really take the time, we would have taken this bay down to metal.
Well, and we would have filled all the holes that are
Yeah, we would
necessary
have
to weld.
welded and ground all the holes off out of it that we're not using anymore. I mean, there really would have been just so much more involved. Again, we're just not going for that caliber. Dom's putting all his money into that engine for right now. We're gonna put it in here, get all the kinks worked out, and then once we have that, then we'll get a shell built in the background while he's running his car down the track and fine-tuning everything. So, you know, it's just a process for us. Again, we'd love to do everything at the same time and do it overnight, but
I don't have the budget.
this is how we're gonna do it.
If I was a millionaire, I would have, you know, I don't think I'd be working on the Honda. Maybe.
Oh, come on.
Maybe I would, yeah.
Yeah, we do all kinds of stuff. Dom and I both have Chevy trucks that we're getting ready to do some custom suspension work to. I've got some body work that I'll have to do to it. Dom's gonna do a full-on crew cab lowrider build.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No lowrider, it's a mini truck.
Mini truck, I'm sorry.
Bully bags, body drop.
Yeah, the whole works. Mine is, it's the shop truck. It's the Rising Sun shop truck. So it hauls our crap, hauls our shells, hauls our other trucks. So it's still going to be functional, but we want it to look right. So, you know, we'll get a lot of that stuff too. You know, we don't just focus on Hondas, although we like them. They're fun. You know, I used to be into classic cars. I had a 72 Firebird that was in the local roadster show here, took first place in its class. You know, so Dom and I both have done a lot. We both had mini trucks back in the day. I had a Nissan hardbody. He had a Toyota. I believe it was a Toyota, wasn't it? So he had a Toyota. So we've done all that stuff. This is just kind of, for right now, this is what we're working on. And next week it may be something different. And the week after that it may be something else.
So we love our Hondas.
We do. We go back to them.
It's so funny because I'm a VTEC guy, and Aaron is not a VTEC guy. I mean, he has his beliefs about non-VTEC, and
don't get me wrong, I love VTEC. So my wife's daily is a 2013 Fit, and that little car would be a turd without that little bit of spunk and VTEC and everything. So blow it off with the air gun first.
oh, okay.
Get the major dust off, and then tack it down with this.
Okay, gotcha.
That little car would be a turd without VTEC, but it's a lot of fun because of it. It's spunky. It's a sport model. So I believe in it. I love it. But at the same time, when you've got 750 wheel horsepower, I mean, what's the difference, really? Come on.
RPM range.
No, that is true.
RPM.
You know what that means back in the old day, right?
Yeah.
It's like, don't, you know, point the finger at me.
Yeah.
It means something different nowadays to these young guys. These young Wico snappers.
Yep.
Waco snappers.
Waker snappers. What the hell are we working with here? Huh?
Well, we got this here Dupli color
Why do I have?
because one spot had the old can and one spot had the new can.
But this
So-
is 500 degree.
So is this.
Oh.
So my buddy Dom here, we've got a company local to us that has a full-on paint store. So you have the option to get HVLP paint. You can get the 2000 in, you know, where it's got the plunger in the bottom of the can. You mix it and then you spray it. It's basically an automotive application, but in a can. You can then get the step under in that. That's just a charged can with paint mixed in it. You can get this stuff. So we kind of took a couple different options. We went for a day and kind of Dom got an idea of what price would be, and we ended up with just your standard rattle can. This is Duplicolor product. It's the slightly higher heat. It's the engine enamel. It's got a little bit of ceramic in it. So, you know, as far as shooting the bay goes, I think it'll be okay. Again, if we were going for something that's just super high end, obviously we'd be using something different. But
that one rattle can though that had the hardener built into it that you cracked in the bottom.
Plunger, the 2000.
I mean, $50 a can, but
it's super high end stuff though.
It's like you're shooting it with a gun.
Yeah, they've got really high end nozzles on them. I mean, there's just a million options for paint these days, and I'm by no means a professional, and I'm sure if a professional watched this video they'd scream at us, but I've done a few things in my life, whether it's with a gun or with rattle can, and they've all done fairly well. So obviously we're going to give it our shake time, and then I'm just going to jump into it, and good, bad, or indifferent, we're going to get it done.
So you want me to hit this right now or no?
Yeah, you're going to have to hit that now, because if we get overspray on this,
yeah.
So I'll wait.
Just shoot the eyelids.
Just try to concentrate it in here and hit here. We don't need to cover everything.
Should we get a piece of cardboard to block or no?
Just go for it. I'll be your cardboard, baby.
Yeah. Oh. Go on thick, right?
You can. I wouldn't go too thick. Again, that's going to be hidden. You know, you want it to be right. We want it to be right, but you know, at best from the factory they overspray those areas. So, you know.
Should I hit this? No.
Again, we had that factory paint. Then whoever just bomb canned on top of the factory paint. So technically, this paint will emulsify itself into not only our primer, but if it hits the factory coating anywhere, it'll emulsify into that, and it should stick pretty well. And you know, really, I think this would be a 2-year coating. Again, Dom probably won't have this shell that long, but if he had to, he could roll on it, and it would probably look pretty decent for a couple of years. We'd want to keep, obviously, any kind of chemicals off of it, but his engine's going to be built, it's going to be clean, we won't have any leaks. So. Job done there, Sparky?
Almost.
You know, you get these engine bays, you know, and sometimes, you know, you just gotta, you know, do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Try not to get it in the already prepped area, but I think she's good.
All right. So when I paint, my flat surfaces are obviously the easy to access surfaces. Are going to be the second thing I do. So I'm going to get into all these hard to reach spots first. So I'm probably going to get back in here. That way I'm not trying to come in here and overspray something I've already done. You know, these are going to be seen but not super seen. Anytime you're working with a rattle can or even a HVLP gun, but specifically with rattle cans, your overspray on what you've already painted can leave a fogged surface. So we want to always think about, we want to think about what we're doing and get the spots that, you know, when I come in here and hit this because it's easier to get to, I'm probably not going to overspray this, whereas if I'm trying to get in here, I might overspray this. So whatever works for you, but that's typically what I try to do. I'll do a little bit of a tacking coat first, so we'll kind of get some color down lightly. It kind of tacks in.
That's red.
That's super red, bro.
It's gonna look good.
It's gonna look pretty good, yeah. I like it. I already like it. We're not even done yet.
I gotta post this up so I can take some actual pictures with my phone for all the people who are already following this build. Dude, that red looks good. My battery's already at half. But it's been going for a while, eh?
Yeah. You're gonna have way too much content.
That's why a lot of it's gonna be in fast, you know.
Yeah.
She's looking good, dude. I like that red.
Yep.
It's a lot lighter than I thought.
Which is almost good because it was looking kind of. I like it actually more than I thought I was going to. I'll put it that way.
Chrysler red, baby.
You want to get another can rattled up?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how much more I got on this one, but I don't want it.
Get this set up another way so I don't gut your ass. Even though the viewers would love it.
Huh?
Even though the viewers would love it.
What?
Your ass.
Oh.
The whole time. Four cans should go a good ways. You know?
Yeah, but I'm just tacking right now, so I'm going super thin. Once I start laying in, it's going to be really going for some things.
Firewall is really the most. I mean, there's really not that much surface area. I mean, I guess So Aaron's really good at doing this. I've done plenty of rattle canning in my life, but he's just got a finesse about it. So he wanted to do this, you know, and so I'm gonna let him because he's gonna make it look good.
I like that color.
It's almost orange.
Yeah, well, and it's going to change a little bit as we get a thicker coating on. Again, this is just packing, getting this paint real thin on there. It's going to bake down for just a second. We don't want to give it too much time between our next coat so that it all gels in together. But again, it might change just slightly as we get more paint down. Might darken up or whatever, become a true color. So.
Oh, you stuck the wires back in?
Yep.
Let's see if you can get it without any runs.
Challenge accepted. You want to get another can rattled up?
Yep. Only 2 more to go. That's good that we got the high heat. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Didn't even realize that. it, dude. What are you thinking?
Make it go right down.
Watch your shin on those.
Huh?
Watch your shin on those.
Yeah. Thinking it looks pretty good.
Got one little.
Right here? Yeah. I'm hoping it'll even out. I came under it and added some paint in, but
That's so minute.
yeah. What do you think?
Looks good.
So we got a can and a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I wish I had sprayed this.
What?
This top so I don't get overspray, but we'll go for this too.
Do it. Cause that should be good, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's as coated as we want to get. If we have to come back and do a second coat, I mean, ultimately we could. I hope we don't have to. I want to get it all in one go, but, you know.
Should I start doing that on the front here?
If you'd like to, yeah.
Just that first initial touch up?
Yep.
Like that.
And just remember, the way you're putting your spray could land on here
Okay,
and
so
create
I'll
a
make
fog.
sure
So try to
to-
kind of, yeah. Sorry. Let me get this inside real quick.
Yep. One spot that I see on that, you see that circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Should be good. I wouldn't do any more. It's probably gonna run right there if you go any heavier on it.
Yeah, but now I got overspray right here, but that's okay. It should gel out, hopefully.
The sun is kind of gone, so it sucks.
Yeah. You can usually burn it in a lot more. It doesn't want, it gels before you get too much run when that sun's super hot, but should be pretty good.
Battery is low.
On the cam?
Yeah.
Well, if you want a safe battery for some aftershock.
Alright, so we have got the bay painted and it looks great. It is amazing. From what it was to what it is now, it's worlds of difference. That red is just beautiful. It's kind of funny when you look at that bay and then you look at the rest of the car. No one's gonna know what's under the hood until I open it. Sick. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful. Can't wait to drop that motor in now. That's what's really gonna be the cherry on top.
That's what I'm itching for.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's gonna
great.
be amazing.
Cool. Well, another productive day here at Rising Sun Auto Works. Definitely go and check out the Instagram, risingsun_autoworks,
Yep.
and inquire 360. And stay tuned, like, subscribe to the video, and we're gonna keep blasting on this thing. The next couple videos are gonna be the actual engine build themselves, putting in all those high-end performance parts and getting those big old rods in and those killer pistons, and we're going to be making some killer boosts.
So much more to come. So much more.
Yep. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.